Healing isn't just a straight path. It's full of twists and turns and sometimes setbacks. But what if those setbacks were actually signs of growth? What if the struggles you face today are shaping the resilience you'll need tomorrow? In this episode, we're going to dive deep into what it really means to heal and build strength amid the challenges of PTSD. Whether you're a first responder or someone supporting one, this conversation is for you. And today we're going to take a closer look at the ongoing journey of healing and resilience. We're going to break down why healing from trauma, PTSD, and mental health challenges isn't a destination, but a process. And why setbacks, small victories, and community support are key to your growth. So grab a seat, settle in, and let's talk about the path to building resilience one step at a time. Welcome to Shields Down, Healing for First Responders, the podcast supporting those on the front lines as they navigate PTSD and trauma. Each episode brings stories of resilience, expert insights, and tools for recovery, offering hope and a path forward. So put your shield down, reclaim your strength, and remember, you're not alone. The nature of healing, it's ongoing. Healing from trauma, PTSD, or mental health struggles it's not linear, nor does it have a set endpoint. So it's important to understand that setbacks, relapses, or tough days are part of the process. But they don't define the entirety of the process, right? Oftentimes we come to those struggles, those setbacks, those relapses, and we're like, oh man, I'm right back to where we were. And that's not true at all. You are so much farther ahead, but a relapse and a setback, these are part of it, right? This is to see if you're willing to push through this obstacle. And sometimes we feel like when we hit these setbacks, we're not prepared or we're not ready to move forward. But these setbacks, my friends, they're that turning point. That turning point that's going to ask you, are you going to keep moving forward through this journey? Or is this little setback going to stop you and make you move backwards? And that's the big question you want to ask yourself. Because if you're not willing to move forward through this little obstacle that you may face, I know it may be big and huge at this time, but I personally feel that each step that we go through is going to be bigger and bigger and bigger. So if you hit a smaller obstacle and you're like, and you restart or you go backwards, it means you're not ready to take that next challenge, because the next one when you overcome this challenge and you make it to the next one, it's going to be bigger. So you have to be ready. But you got to keep fighting, because every step forward, no matter how small, matters. Healing, it's a journey, right? It's not a destination. We're always trying in life. We always try to get to that place. We always set a goal, and then when we hit that goal, we're like, I'm good. I've hit my goal. But when you're trying to heal, you don't have that destination. You have certain steps, but I personally feel that it's a lifelong journey. It's not something that you're going to achieve once. You're not going to be like, okay, I'm cured of PTSD, right? It's going to be ongoing. It's going to be an evolving process, and it's going to require time, patience, self-compassion, right? Just as your physical wounds heal gradually, emotionally and physically recovering from trauma is going to take time. And there's going to be periods there that are like, bam, huge. And you're like, I had significant improvement. And this is amazing. I really climbed that hill. And then there's going to be other times that are like, and I feel like these days are just stacking up on each other and I can't move forward. But if you can understand within yourself that your healing is an ongoing journey, and that you're going to be able, each step you take every single day is moving you closer and closer to your goals, and moving you closer and closer to these relapses not occurring so much, these setbacks not recurring. I remember when I was first in my journey of my struggles, my relapses and my setbacks were like week long. And then eventually, I still have them today. I still have moments of depression and low moments. I don't like to use the word depression, but low moments in my days. But now they take an hour, 2 hours sometimes, where I'm just like, I'm in a low place and I need to use some of my positive coping mechanisms that I've trained myself over the years to get out of this. And I go meditate, I have a shower, I go for a walk in nature, I work out. These simple things I do, even journaling, get me out of that state very quickly. But it's still something I deal with all the time. But you have to learn to embrace these setbacks because they're a part of your growth, right? They're normal parts of this healing process. So when you're faced with these difficult days or when symptoms resurface, it can definitely feel discouraging. But these moments don't erase the progress you've already made. So rather than seeing these setbacks as failures, begin to look at them as opportunity so that you can reflect on what triggered them, and then you can learn some new coping mechanisms that are going to help you evolve. This perspective allows you to build resilience. And then it's going to also show you that setbacks aren't a regression, but a part of the journey. Celebrate small victories, right? In the process of healing, it's easy to focus on how far there is to go and overlook those small victories that you've already achieved. Because every step forward, no matter how small, it's significant. And these moments of progress, whether it's managing a trigger more effectively, getting through a tough day, or simply showing up for yourself, it should be celebrated. And when you begin acknowledging and taking pride in these small victories, it's going to help you build confidence, and it's going to help you reinforce the belief that healing is possible, even if it's in some small increments. But I've always say that belief is the first step in healing. If you're looking at these small victories and you begin to see yourself healing, you're like, you know what? Yeah, I made it through that tough time that I had the other day. This is when it's going to show you that you can make it. Resilience, it's built over time, right? Just like when you go to the gym, physical strength, mental strength, anything like that, you're not going to be able to go to the gym and be like, okay, I'm going to pick up that 90-pound weight and I'm going to start doing shoulder presses with it, right? It takes time. You got to slowly build up. Okay, I'm at 50s right now. So and then next time over the next course, I'm going to do 55s, and then I'm going to go 70s, and then I'm going to go, right? Like it builds up over time. And resilience, it's an adaptive process. It's not about never feeling pain or avoiding hardship, right? That's part of life. Pain shows you that you're still alive, right? It's a dynamic process of adapting to adversity and then growing from it. Because each setback that we have, it's a valuable lesson. And each recovery that we get from that setback builds that deeper reserve of strength. So by acknowledging and processing your emotions, you allow yourself the space to adapt and the space to evolve, making yourself better equipped to face future challenges with greater clarity and determination. Resilience is rooted in self-compassion, though. You got to remember that. When you're building resilience, it's because you're pushing through these hard times and you're taking care of yourself along the way. And it's crucial to do this because setbacks can either build you or they can break you. But if you're self-kind to yourself and you're self-compassion, well, then these moments are going to make you even better, right? And it's going to nurture your emotional strength, and it's going to give you the capacity to continue moving forward, even when things feel overwhelming. Resilience thrives when you connect with others. Well, I know that resilience is a personal journey, and it's often built on in the presence of the support of people. So surround yourself with people who understand. Surround yourself with people who empathize with your experience, and they can provide you that emotional buffer. Because sometimes we hit those setbacks and we're like, man, how do I move forward from this? And you have friends and family and those peer support that are like, you got this. And that's what I'm telling you today, my friends. You got this. You can push through any setback that you will face. You have to choose to. And you have to believe that you can. And this community support is vital in your battle. You don't have to face this alone, right? Whether, having those peer groups, trusted friends, family, maybe even going to therapy or counseling just to get your feet moving. It's going to be crucial. Sharing your burdens really takes that weight off your shoulders. When you're able to tell other people what you're going through and open up and say, man, I'm struggling with this today. I feel like I'm falling so far back and I can't do this anymore. I've said that to people and people have been like, I did that too. I went through that. And it gives you that encouragement to say, you know what? Okay, I'm not alone in this battle. And these connections can be incredibly grounding. And it can remind you that you're not alone and that you can move forward. And you can share your stories without fear of judgment or anything like that, because it creates that mutual understanding. And it fosters trust and creates that powerful sense of belonging. Because most of the times when we're depressed or we're suffering with PTSD symptoms or going through withdrawals or these setbacks, it's because we're trying to do this alone. I played soccer most of my life, and I know that when I'm playing on my team, I don't feel alone. I don't feel like I'm off in a corner. I feel like I need to get involved. I feel like I need to help out in the areas that I can. So when you're in a team sport or doing something like that, you're involved. You're playing. But why is it that when we have something going on in our lives, we feel like we have to do it alone? And we don't want to be a part of that team. No, I got this. Show me a person that has depression around a group of friends. I know that there are times when you feel saddened because you have, intrusive thoughts or certain things are going on in your head and you're around other people. That's fine. But most of the time, people that have depression are laying in their bed or they're not involved in things that they want to be involved in. So you have to choose to say, look, I'm not going to let this setback beat me. Right? As first responders, we go to situations that we have to win. Right? As a correctional officer for years, there'd be a distress call that I would run to. And my goal as I'm running to that is to win that battle. I don't go to that thinking I'm going to fail. I go to that knowing that, one, I have my team behind me, my coworkers that are going to have my back. And two, I go there because that's part of how I need to respond. So when it's within your personal strength and when you're going after the things within your own life, you need to respond with the help of others. Because when you're in the trenches battling PTSD, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. It's easy to lose sight of that process that you're doing. And then that external support becomes so invaluable. Those family, friends, mental health professionals, they can offer this objective perspective on your journey. And they can even show you these small victories. Coming on and listening to my podcast, that's a small victory. You're taking the time out of your day to work on yourself just by listening to me. And if you don't see that as a small victory, you need to look at what's going on around you, right? I'm here to support you. There's people in your lives that are here to support you. So what's the exercise, okay? You know me and my exercises. I've been doing this for 6 months now, and I love giving you exercises after each one. Today we're going to talk about the daily victory journal. So I want you to add this to your journal, and I trust that you're journaling like I am every day. and you write down what you can. Some are probably paragraphs and some are probably stories, because we have to get things out of our mind onto the paper so that we can begin to analyze them. So add this. At the end of each day, write down one victory. One. That's all I'm asking for. One victory, big or small, right, that you achieved in your fight. It can be simple as, I got out of bed today and it was a tough morning. I completed a task that I've been avoiding. And I meditated. I made time for some self-care today. And then reflect, right? Read it and reflect on how that victory contributes to your overall journey. And then over time, this practice is going to help you reinforce your resilience and remind you that even these small steps are going to be significant in your battle. So remember that your healing, it's a journey. It's not a race. It doesn't matter who else is running faster than you. This is your journey. Look in, not out. It's okay. It's okay to have tough days. It's okay to have setbacks. It's okay to have moments where progress feels slow. What matters is that you keep moving forward. No matter how small the steps may seem, baby steps or giant steps, keep moving forward. And every challenge you face, every victory you achieve, big or small, it's going to bring you closer to the strength and resilience that you're building within yourself. Surround yourself with those who understand. Embrace this process and lean on your support systems when things get tough. And most importantly, my friends, celebrate your wins along the way. Healing doesn't happen overnight, but with each step, you're proving that you are stronger than you think. Thank you for tuning in to Shields Down, Healing for First Responders. Remember, healing is a journey, and each step forward matters. Now, if today's episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might need it. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories, insights, and tools for recovery. Together, we'll build a stronger, more resilient community. Until next time, stay safe, stay strong, and we'll see you on the next episode.